Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. We are your counselors this evening, Jason.
And Jeremy.
Wow, you were slogging through that one, weren't you? I bet. I
Kind of
bet
like
it's
this
because of
movie.
kind of like this movie. Hey,
Actually, it was more like the last one, but
so the movie we are talking about tonight is a movie called The Exorcist: The Beginning. And Jeremy,
ooh,
I just found this out.
beginning.
I just found this out. We're gonna have some fun here for a moment. I just found this out, but we have another movie after this, right? There's like five Exorcist films altogether. There's Exorcist, Exorcist 2, The Heretic, Exorcist 3. Then it's um Exorcist the Beginning, which we're gonna talk about, and then it's like Dominion, prelude to The Exorcist, right?
Yeah, which is basically what we just watched.
It's the same movie. I just found out it's the same movie.
No, it's not exactly the same. There are some
It's
differences.
there is a difference. Yes, I guess Dominion was the first movie that they did, and I guess they were too worried that the movie wouldn't fly very well, so they were like, no, 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 rebuild it a little bit and send it out as
When I
the
was
other movie.
reading the description before you got on, I actually read where it was like Father Merrin goes to Africa for his first battle with Pazuzu, and I'm like, wait a
So,
second, I think I've read this before.
so
Oh
what's
wait,
gonna
so we get
so what's
another.
gonna happen is that you're getting two episode ones.
It's an
It's
hour and
this
50 minutes of almost the exact same thing we just
I
watched.
mean, I think it goes. See, this is where it gets difficult to actually talk about like what the actual. Okay, I popped my chat out before the show got started, so I was making sure that my chat was actually working because it didn't seem like it was doing anything in particular. But okay, so chat's working. Um, yeah, so Monday we're gonna be watching the same movie. It's gonna feel like the same movie. I think the major difference is I'm trying to. I actually got a little thing here I was just reading. This film is actually the second version of Exorcist: The Beginning to be filmed and completed. Upon seeing the first version, the studio protested the film was based too much on the characters and wasn't the gore fest they wanted. So they hired a new director and reshot the entire movie with a different script. The original version of the movie was recently released on video. I This was off of a website called MovieMistakes.com, and I don't know exactly when this was posted, but it had to have been shortly after Dominion got released. But uh, yeah, so this is pretty much a reshot Dominion. Yeah, it's kind of the same movie. Same kind of ideas. I guess this one is kind of like the one that you would watch if you wanted more gore and more. "Ugh." And the next movie is actually, from what I understand, the next movie actually got slightly better reviews. This movie got tanked real bad, and I think the next movie is actually a little better, but I think it does focus on the characters more in the next movie than the actual. I mean, maybe we'll get a kid eaten by hyenas in this one or the next one.
Well, apparently both William Blatty and Paul Schrader were nearly thrown out of the film's premiere for loudly laughing during the screening. That's pretty sad.
Mm, yeah, well, the thing about it is that, see, this movie for me wasn't like the most laughable movie. That was definitely two. Speaking of which, uh before I forget about
Oh
it.
god, you don't want to know what I just read.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to that here in a moment, guys. Fun trivia moment. But while we were setting up here, I was setting up my phone so I can have some information ready. that we could talk about, and I ended up coming up across a list. And these I went through the list. They were talking about like the best or the all five Exorcist movies from like worst to the best, and everyone has their opinions. I myself do not agree with this list, but um, and I forgot what website it came from, but they had uh, they had done like I believe they did Exorcist 3 as the worst movie, followed up with this movie, and then Dominion, and then it was Exorcist, and then Exorcist 2. Like they loved Exorcist 2. And I was reading some of the facts and I was like, yeah, kind of makes sense, but it's not better than the original. But yeah, I just pointed that out. Saw that. Jeremy, go ahead.
So, guess who was originally supposed to play Father Merrin?
You always come in with these guess who was supposed to play this.
I know
Go
it's
ahead.
always fun.
I don't know. Give me a hint.
Uh, he plays in a. He's in a lot of movies. He plays in Star Wars. Plays in Batman.
It's all right. They were talking about Liam Neeson.
I will find you, Pazuzu, and I will kill you. I have a certain set of skills.
Yeah, I remember seeing something on there like that. Oh, I actually just came across this since you're talking about um
Came across what?
no, continue your thing. I want to cross check this real quick because that
Oh,
doesn't seem entirely right.
I mean, really. So, my opinion of this movie, I might be on like the opposite end of the spectrum, but I liked it more than I disliked it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you like the movie.
No, I mean, I did
You
like it.
had issues with the movie, but you like it overall. It's a positive.
Yeah, like, I didn't think it was a bad movie. Not like a lot of people. I think maybe Dominion might be better. I guess we'll see. But overall, like, there was a lot in this movie that I liked. Um, Now, there were some things. There was one thing in particular um, that I didn't really care for. It was the whole evil battle happens here, build church, bury church. Like, I kind of wish that they had went the route of, yes, there was a church built there, that wasn't meant for Christianity yet because it hadn't reached it yet. But I kind of wish it wasn't because of some battle where an evil presence caused everybody to die. Does that make sense? I think it does. It made sense in my head.
No, that okay. That is right. Okay. Um, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I know they were trying to build this Pazuzu up to be this big baddie, um, and really you just kind of get the same thing. Did they ever really explain what was going on? I mean, like I know they made references to like this church that had been built in this area before Christianity even came to this particular part of Africa. I know they said something about the angels, instead of raising their spears up to heaven, they were pointing them down like they were, keeping something trapped. I think they say something that was like that could have been like the potential spot where Lucifer
Landed.
fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't understand the whole Pazuzu thing because um, I mean, I guess if it's a land of evil per se, but you're still talking about Pazuzu himself or itself. And look here, something. Pazuzu, Pazuzu is
It,
a Mesopotamian uh, demon.
okay.
I don't think that it's ancient Mesopotamian. Um,
No, PJ, he did not get brought to the States in a
in a
statue.
I still say he got brought to the states.
He needed a
Yeah,
passport.
yeah, we know.
He's got to board a plane
Um,
just like everybody else.
uh, Mesopotamian religion was the original religious beliefs and practices of the civilizations of ancient Mesopotamia, particularly Sumer, Babylonia, between circa 6000 BC and 400 AD.
That doesn't tell us anything, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I mean, like, if they're trying to, yeah, you saw his passport pictures, like the little stone dragon thing. He's like, you know, no, I was just thinking, like, if Pazuzu's not even like within that religion, like they're talking about this church being built, Lucifer, that's where he landed. Uh, that's all like, I'm no, what do they call them? Theologists,
Mm-hmm.
people who discuss religion. I'm not one of those. I don't know my religions very well, but I would assume that just because you build a church in a place where, Lucifer possibly fell and it's evil, I I don't know what that has to do with a Mesopotamian deity or demon or whatever you want to call it. And that part just doesn't make sense to me. It's like they were trying to tie it into something more. See, I liked in the first, like in the first movie, is that the father had found, like, during one of his digs, he had found like the little Pazuzu statue, and that was it. That's all you needed. And not once did, um, um, when Reagan was possessed, did she ever mention Pazuzu? Did they use Pazuzu as a name? I think they mentioned it, but they never actually specifically said
Yeah, they.
that's what possessed her.
No, yeah, they mentioned him, but
Which also, makes it weird because why would a Mesopotamian demon be casted out by a Catholic book?
what's funny is according to Mesopotamia, the background in religion, he was both a destructive and dangerous wind, but also as a repellent to other demons. One who would safeguard the home from their influence. In particular, he was protective of pregnant women and mothers, whom he could defend from the machinations of the demoness Lamashtu, his rival. So, like,
So he was like an anti-hero.
I guess he could be good and bad.
Well,
Except now, where he's completely bad.
yeah. I mean, gotta have your kicks, right? Didn't really do anything with that woman who gave birth to that maggoty stillborn. Ugh, didn't do any protecting of her.
No,
But
not at all.
yeah, I mean, this movie is interesting. Um, I did read here that I did read here. Let me bring it back up. That the actor who played in this movie, right? What's his name? Stellan? Is it Stellan Skarsgård?
Uh, yeah, it's Daddy Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stellan
Stellan.
Skarsgård. He did this movie. Okay, I'm hoping this is right. I don't want to be sending anything wrong out, but I just did the actual other thing, or cross check the age on the last one. But when he filmed this movie, he was 53 years old.
That man's still kicking, bro.
Okay, well, just hear me out. He did this movie 53 years old. Max von Sydow, is that I'm presuming that's how I'm pronouncing it. Played this same character in the original movie. He was 44 years old. So the 53-year-old is playing a younger version of the 44-year-old in the first movie.
Yet the 52-year-old, is that how old he was? You said 52?
53.
53? He looks
Mm-hmm.
younger than the 40 something year old one in the other one.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I actually kind of like this website now. This movie mistakes. Check this out. Check this out. Factual error. In the very beginning of the film, the priest is walking through a battlefield that contains the bodies of Roman soldiers. They are wearing distinctive Roman uniforms and armor, which dates the battle no later than 6th century AD. He is holding a rosary in his hand, but the rosary wasn't introduced into the Catholic Church until the 13th century.
So that's okay. That's something that like I really wish people when they make movies would actually do a little bit of research.
I mean, these are probably things that, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're not doing research, but you're talking about doing something like straight down to the T. It's real easy if you're doing like a movie or something. You go, okay, what are we gonna have here? What'll be really cool here? Roman soldiers. Let's set this up in a certain time period. Blah blah blah. But you don't actually go back and look because you're like, okay, what's gonna save this guy? Rosary. That's gonna be our primary thing. Okay, cool. You may not actually look back and go, oh, well, the rosary actually wasn't introduced until like later on. Because see, I'm not one of those people. So if I see this scene in the movie, I ain't gonna know what's going on. I mean, I know what's going on, but I'm not gonna be sitting there going, "Oh, well, the rosary wasn't. It shouldn't be there." I mean, I do that with my. Sometimes I do that with my Marvel movies. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. But yeah, I mean that's kind of a minor.
But this
Shouldn't they
isn't
have?
a minor. Are you ready for this?
Yes, 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 yes.
So when the tribe's people are performing their primitive ritualistic exorcism on Joseph in the infirmary, right? They're all
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
dancing around him, and the
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
demonic presence begins snapping their bones. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yes.
So they're all in there dancing, and like their bones really start snapping in half and like coming out of the skin, so you can see them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the tribesmen sustains a compound fracture to his shin bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet they all run quickly out of the infirmary. Even if a man with a snapped shin could somehow endure the pain to be able to move, he would not be able to walk, much less run with a completely snapped bone. He would have fallen to the floor, and one or more people would have had to drag him out.
But I mean, we were what were, oh, we were watching some of those for all of you who don't know, um there's a musical group on YouTube. They're called the Merkins, and they dress up as like slashers and horror characters, and they do parody songs. And they did one on The Exorcist, and Raven was sitting there, and we were watching the one with The Exorcist or whatever, and they showed the scene where she turned her head completely around,
Yeah.
and Raven looked at me and said, I don't know why she didn't ask me when we actually watched the movie itself, but she just kind of looked at me and she went, "How is her head even still on?" And I looked at her and went, "What?" She goes, "She just turned her head completely around. That was snap, like the vertebrae or whatever in her neck. It would just break everything."
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at her and went, "Oh." that kind of ruined it for me. Now that you point that out, how does her head just stay on afterwards? But um, yeah, I mean that is something that you can look at and go, oh, well, that you know. Let's see here. I think I had one more. Okay. Someone asked a question. The demon prevented it. So he just mends wounds too. Oh, see, that's his good side, Jeremy. I'm gonna use the ability to spin your head all the way around, and I'm gonna scare people. But I'll make sure you're okay. I don't want to do too much damage now. Okay.
Your spine will still be intact when we're done.
Yep. Yep.
Unlike that person in our background right now who has his entire center cavity just.
Oh, I didn't even look at the picture. Let me shrink my camera down real quick so you take a picture. Oh well, that's just gross, Jeremy. Yeah, it's gross. Okay, where get my stuff back up here? Get my
I
chat.
mean, no more gross than watching that dude take, like I said, take a spear to the face or to the chest. I mean, when the whole war thing started, that one, the black dude that nobody cared about.
Yeah, was he like a translator or something?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, someone had asked a question on this same website or whatever. They said, "Is there anyone who know?" That's not the question I was wanting to bring up. What the?
Ooh, questions.
No, it's not particularly questions per se. I mean, there was someone they were just asking like certain. Uh, I had one and it just I don't know why it changed.
What did you
Okay,
think of this movie?
what did I think of this movie? From what I could actually watch, because I had a lot going on, I didn't actually get to sit down and watch a lot of it. But I thought it was all right. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like Indiana Jones type horror. You know, a lot of seeming like archaeologist stuff and
The Temple
Nazi.
of Doom.
The Temple of Pazuzu.
The
Zoo.
Temple of Pazuzu.
The the te-
Onochiba.
the Temple of Zoo. Um, but I mean, from what I could gather, I would have to go back and actually kind of rewatch it, which is what we're going to be doing on Monday with Dominion. Woo! Gonna
Yeah, second
catch it all
chance.
back. Second chance. Maybe it's a better improvement. But I thought it was all right. I like I said, I have to go back. I missed a bit of the beginning. A lot of stuff I wasn't understanding, but I mean, the special effects weren't like the worst things of the movie.
No,
Um,
actually, they kind of blended pretty well.
I think the problem with this movie is that
This is one of the first times we get to see a Deadite outside of the Evil Dead.
oh yeah,
She was on the
the
walls. She was on the ceiling.
well, no, technically the one from the third movie, she was crawling up on the walls too.
Yeah, but this one looked more like it, in my opinion.
Well, the other one was just possessed by that Gemini killer. She wasn't actually possessed by a demon, but I think the problem that I have with this movie is that it's not.
Horror enough for you.
No, I mean there was some pretty kind of nothing real scary, but I mean there were horror elements to it. I think just compared to the first one is almost a masterpiece because of its setting and how eerily things kind of blend together, and just like all the action, especially towards the end of the movie, takes place in like the last the last portion of the film takes place in that little room,
Yeah.
so it's all confined and whatnot. And um this one, just having that kind of broad open space and with the war and the stuff, it just kind of it just seemed kind of not the same. It didn't have much of an Exorcist feel, which I think that's the problem with a lot of these movies now is that like the first one dealt with an exorcism. This one actually had an exorcism in it at the end, a very powerful blow your brains out exorcism, but
Oh
which
yeah, he
actually
like exploded out of the back of her head.
yeah, which is just what I found that question. It said near the end of the film, when Sarah dies, where did all the blood come from? Did she hit her head when she fell after the demon was driven out? If so, why did it take so long to start gushing? Chosen answer? Yes, it may have taken so long because the blood was probably pooling in the back of her head, which caused her to pass out, then finally built up enough pressure to gush out of the cut or fracture at the back of her head. Oh, yeah, it was almost like Sarah had just like ran straight into a an invisible wall, just bones crumpling and all
I
that fun
think
stuff.
this is the first one was a movie that didn't need a sequel. I think we would have
Um,
been perfectly fine without any
if they,
sequel.
if they did, if they did The Exorcist and they just went into like The Exorcist 3, I would be
With the scissor
okay
men.
with I would be okay with that because to an extent I did like the third one. I know it was slow paced and it was very kind of but kind of the idea, with the Legion and stuff like that. Um both of those were based off books. So the second one and these two movies that we're watching, these two prequels or whatever, which is technically the same kind of story, just explained differently or in different detail. These are just kind of made up to expand the universe. While the first one and the third one were based off actual books. And I think that's why those two should just kind of fit better together without all this extra necessity. We don't I don't need to know who Pazuzu is. I don't need to know like how Father Merrin, just has like this whole background with him. Like Pazuzu is his arch nemesis for years. I don't need that. You give me the basic exorcism from The Exorcist, and then you can do, like Legion, where, you know, Pazuzu is still inside the body of the other father, and is seeking revenge, and that's all you need. Don't need all this hyenas eating children and stillborn Maddie babies and
That hyena scene was crazy. And in case you
yeah.
haven't seen the movie, what we're talking about is these kids are like playing around a well. Like the older brother's like taunting the little brother because uh, Father Merrin gave the little brother like a small shovel, um, and the older brother's like teasing him, holding it above his head and all this other stuff. And he says something, and out of nowhere, these hyenas just jump out of this well.
They jump out of the well, or were they just around the well?
One of them was in it, and then the others came around it. But they just attacked this kid.
I think it had something to do with the other boy. I think he wasn't he like possessed or something or
Yeah, he's possessed by Pazuzu
Pazuzu.
because Pazuzu likes possessing children for some reason.
That's the thing. I liked it better. I like these movies better when they don't actually tell you what the the spirit is. You want to make references, you can make something like referencing, hey, it could be this thing or whatnot, but it doesn't actually have to be
It's like
Pazuzu.
it's like Phantasm. You don't want to. You don't need to explain it for you to like it.
Yeah, I just want giant Pazuzu statues in the sky and Pazuzus from different worlds, from different realities and different times.
Oh god! Could you imagine like stepping through the little vibrating tuner forks and
And it's
and you see little munchkins and Pazuzu?
little Pazuzu munchkins, little statues. Well, he's got wings. He should be able to fly. I mean, he is like the demon of the wind.
I actually
Should be able
watched
to.
that movie the other day.
What?
Phantasm.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we are so getting off topic.
God, that movie's so good.
Let's talk about.
What was that? It's my brother. Now that scene still gets me. Ah,
Yeah, he's running through
the cemetery.
the cemetery.
But
Rupert.
no, so
My goodness, that is a.
they like I said, there were just parts that I like, parts that I didn't. I really didn't like that one dude who had like the face irritation going on.
Oh, I must have missed him at the Was he at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, where he got all creepy with the girl.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds about right.
And then they found him in the whiskey or in the alcohol bar.
Oh, that's the one who got all strung up in the temple.
Yep.
Yup.
It was an interesting thought for it to be like that.
Yeah.
But I wonder something about this whole thing. So you have a Mesopotamian demon with
Mm-hmm.
a Catholic um, religion
Mm-hmm.
in Kenya, where they have
Mm-hmm.
their own religion.
Mm-hmm.
So they do the. Did the Kenyans think it was Pazuzu too, or did they think it was something different?
They may have thought it was something different. That's the thing about it is that if you're gonna do like some sort of demonic entity based on some sort of religion, I would think you would use the same religion, not kind of bounce it around. But that might be the thing about that might be the thing about religion. It could be Pazuzu could be one thing to the Catholics, could be a different thing to the Kenyans, could be an entirely different thing to the Mesopotamians. So I guess, quite frankly, it's just how you interpret it.
What I did like is during the big fight, like it turned into from one group fighting the other to everybody just killing everybody because of the evil force that was there. You know what I
So,
mean?
Jim, yeah, I get what you're saying. So, you said you like this film more than you didn't like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you liked it more than The Exorcist 3?
I think they're on par with each other. I went back and rewatched The Exorcist 3 after we talked about it. Or, yeah, 3. I went back and rewatched it um, after the podcast last week. And I noticed things in it that I didn't notice before that kind of made me appreciate it more. I still don't like all the dialogue. I think they could have cut back on some of that. But I get where you're coming from with the Legion stuff. I have a newfound respect for it. So I think I like 3 a little bit more than this one, but this one's close.
Okay.
And I think it's just because of Skarsgård.
No, I mean he did.
I
do
think he did
think he did.
fantastic.
Okay, ready, Jeremy? Exorcist: The Beginning was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, which it's like the awards for like worst movies. So they were nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards: Worst Director and Worst Remake or Sequel.
So,
But but what?
well, keep going.
No, no, no. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, the director was fired. The original one, Paul Schrader, he was
Well, he was.
fired originally for the movie because it didn't have enough gore, and that's when they brought in um, Rennie Harlan.
That's right. Yeah, Rainey Harlan did this one. He pretty much took the script that was originally Dominion and rewrote it a little bit, and added some gorier effects to it and whatnot.
Yeah, they
And
did like a big reshoot, but a lot of the actors weren't available for reshoots.
hmm,
But yeah, no, they Morgan Creek told Rennie Harlan that Paul Schrader's version was complete crap and unsalvageable, and without any intention of actually signing onto the project, said that they'd be better off reshooting from scratch. And then they actually gave him a lot more money, and they rewrote the entire screenplay. So,
oh.
fun times.
All right. So this movie was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards: Worst Director and Worst Remake or Sequel, but lost to 2 other Warner Brothers films: Catwoman
Okay.
and Scooby Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed.
Oh yeah,
So,
because Catwoman
Scoob.
sucked.
Well, apparently so did Scooby Doo. So, there is that fun fact. Um,
So it wasn't the worst movie ever.
ever? No. I would fathom to say it's not the worst movie in a lot of ways.
Well,
But
then
they got a
let's
TV.
see.
They got a TV show.
Yeah. Well, let's
And
see what everybody else thought of it, because it's time for the ratings.
ooh, already
Mm-hmm.
sweet.
It's time. So, IMDb, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 38,000 votes, everybody,
Just go up to 10.
place your wagers. Yes, it goes up to 10. Who will be crowned king of the day? Of the rating board?
Um.
Oh,
Let me give it a 2.5.
Jason hitting it with the low ball. PJ coming in at the
Oh, what?
6.7.
Why is my numlock not working? There you go.
I don't
Doo
know.
doo. No, it was
Why do you give it a 2.5?
because it was just kind of. Raven goes with a 5.
Where?
She sent it. She says it won't let her text it,
Oh.
but she sent it to me on my phone. She says 5.
Oh, is she watching? That's cool.
Yeah. Hey, um, PJ, you, well, are you on the tablet or on the phone? Because my phone's about to die. I'm not going to have a way to communicate with her, so she may have to send you. Um, if Raven, if you're watching, send them to PJ. Because my phone is at like 1%. It's about dead. It's going to shut off any moment now. But Oh, okay. So PJ's on the iPad, so she should be able to get. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 2.5. Looks like PJ says 6.7, and
Raven was a 5.
yep, Raven is a 5.
And the winner is Ravenfire with
Oh,
a with the rating being a 5.1 out of 10.
she she almost nearly nailed that thing. Oh my goodness.
Which means it is
Oh my
time
goodness.
for
The
the
Roddy
Rotten
Tomato.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, the Roddy Tomato.
Roddy Tomatoes.
Critics,
Critics on
critic
a
wise,
0 to 100.
a 0 to 100.
25.
That's what I'm putting down.
Alright, what about Ravenfire? What you got?
I'm,
PJ's going with the 47 on the critics.
I'm hoping that my phone doesn't die while I'm trying to look to see what she's sending. Because it is literally 1%, and it will.
It's like a time bomb. Because she sent the text before the timer explodes.
Yeah, she sent. Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, she just sent me a picture of the chat, and it's just saying the action could not be completed. Please try again later.
Oh, that's weird.
Unless she's got some sort of connection thing going. Well, I mean, she can watching us. So, PJ, has she responded to anything yet?
Do you accept the mission?
Oh, she says 59.
59?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, guess what? Guess what? You are all losers.
Oh, what?
You are all losers. All of y'all. Price is
Are
right, you would all be gone.
are you telling me that 25 is too high?
Yes.
Oh God, what is it, Jeremy?
It's a 10. 10.
Wait, it's
Not
a
only
what?
are these tomatoes rotten, they're so squishy that as soon as you grab a hold of them, they go.
Okay, wait. It's a what?
It's a 10.
The tab's 13.
You're 2 minutes late, dude.
Oh, I couldn't find the place.
Wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Extra bonus points if anyone can figure out that movie. That's a good movie. That's probably one of my favorite scenes.
um, so some of the stuff that they've said, because these tomatoes are rotten. Uh, the serious Catholic themes that made the original film genuinely disturbing has been flattened out into a cartoonish backstory pitting Merrin against Nazi stormtroopers.
Yeah, there was the. I did catch sight of that because, like I said, I didn't catch kind of the beginning of the movie. I think I missed the first couple minutes of it. And while we were out and about, I wasn't catching all of it. But I think when I finally sat down, was able to sit down and actually watch it, there was like a scene where Marin is pointing at people and Nazis were shooting. I'm going, okay, whoa.
Merrin was a priest in Holland during World War II,
Yeah, I think
and
I read that.
he he was asked to point out who were hiding Jewish people from the Nazis, and he was pointing them out because they were killing the children in front of him. For every time he wouldn't point to somebody, they killed a child.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, we got a little too much backstory now. I didn't really need to. I know he's fighting Pazuzu, but are we comparing Pazuzu to Nazis? Nobody should be compared to Nazis. Hmm.
Unlike the first film, in which audience members fainted and threw up, the showdown between good and evil prompted more laughter amongst the audience than terror.
Yeah, I think this one was trying to. I think that's the thing about these newer movies. I mean, like a lot of it, I don't think was very practical. I think a lot of it was some sort of CGI built in. Um, the original movie was frightening, and it did take the account of like good versus evil, and if good faltered, evil could easily win. Because the characters in that one were having to deal with like loss of faith,
Yeah.
and then they had to. Raven said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles quote. Wow, that's because I think I've said that one around her before. Bonus points. But yeah, I think in that one it was good versus evil, and good was having a hard time winning anyway, and um, the good side was having their lack of faith and whatnot, and having their faith challenged, and I think that was what the strong point of that whole thing was. And this one is just it doesn't have the same feel, and it just also feels kind of a wasted opportunity because in the original movie, Merrin shows up to do the exorcism thing, and then they go out into the hallway for a few minutes to take a break. He
Yes.
pops up. He takes some. What was that? Some sort of nitroglycerin or something. I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure what he took, but then he ended up like having a heart attack or something right there. And it was like, oh, okay, well, he pushed himself to the limit, and that was it. Now we got to get all this backstory with him. He was. I don't know. I didn't. I just don't think any of this stuff is necessary, especially for him because he doesn't even really continue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you either take this movie or Dominion because they can't exist at the same time, they can't. They're both the same story being told slightly differently, from what I understand. Then if you have Exorcist 1, 2, and 3, those Exorcist 1, 2, and 3, if those exist in the universe, then you get some of his backstory also in the second movie. Or, yeah, you get some more of his backstory in the second movie. To me, it's just, he's just added extra in here. I'm not entirely sure why. Like, this movie did not make me like him anymore. It wasn't like, oh man, I wish he played more of a pivotal role in the other movies. He's just, I don't know. I like to see stuff expanded upon afterwards. I don't need to see stuff beforehand.
Makes sense. And the audience score 0 to 100. Let the
Zero.
dice roll.
I, I've gotten it so low. I let that 10
Wow.
scare. I let that 10 scare me.
Are you
That
sure you
10
don't
is
want to retract that 5?
no, thank you. Because as long as it's under 35, I win. That's all I need. I just need it under 35.
Oh, sweet lord. That is true, though.
All I need is under 35. Dude, don't cheater. That's not. what do you think this box of soap is worth? I'm gonna go with $10. I'm gonna go with $9.99. Cheater.
The answer is
Dun, 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 dun.
Jason taking it home. The answer is 27%.
20, 27. That's actually higher than the critic score. Oh, this movie.
It is. But here's the tiebreaker.
Oh,
Since
it's tiebreaker.
yeah, because I figured since we had bonus points.
Wait. Who won? That's right. Raven won the IMDb. No one won the critic, and I won the. Okay. All right. Seriously sad though. Ah.
Oh, 1 second. Okay, so
Okay. All right. We ready?
since we had the Turtles reference earlier, we're about to go way off topic. The original Turtles movie where that scene comes from, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which came out in
Dominoes.
1990. Jason, tomato meter on that movie. What do you think the tomato meter was?
Are you kidding me?
Ravenfire, you as
that
well.
that movie. Okay, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, TMNT, were tomato meter
Tomato meter, not the audience.
critic.
Critic.
Ooh, 67. That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm gonna go with I don't really. I got such a good movie that. PJ's jumping in there like I'm getting some of this. watch her win.
You're all wrong. You're wrong. You lose.
Oh
Good
God,
day, sir.
was it below a 50?
It was a 41
Are you kidding me?
in
Okay,
the or in the tomato meter. Well, since y'all both lost, let's go one more.
yeah,
Audience score.
that's by far one of the best movies out there. I love that movie. I will watch that movie day and night.
What the heck was that?
I don't know. Look like a giant tortoise in a trench coat. You're going to LaGuardia, right?
I hate punkers, especially bald ones with green makeup.
Cricket. Nobody understands cricket. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. What are we doing? What are we doing with this?
Okay.
So everyone, The Exorcist is a terrible movie. We're gonna talk turtles now.
All right. Let's see if we can do one more tiebreaker. Audience score for that same movie.
I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna do it again.
5.
I'm gonna go with 74. No, I think people love that movie. There's someone out there. Critics can hate it, but there has to be fans out there that love that movie. I do believe. I mean, the movie is probably darker, but have you ever actually seen like the original comic material?
Oh
I think
yeah.
when people talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think they always think of like the '80s cartoon with all that goofy and color,
Yeah.
very kid friendly. But I think the original Turtles was like dark and brutal. I think they decapitated like the Shredder in like the first fight they ever did. Like they just cut his head off.
Well,
Supposed to be. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
PJ, I'm sorry, you're over.
Uh, 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 uh.
Jason, you won it with the audience score being an 81%.
PJ went over by 1. Yeah, that's what Raphael said when he lost his sigh.
He also said it on the rooftop. He shouted it to New York.
Yeah, but I don't think he had the it attached to it. I think he was just yelling. Well, actually, you know what? I don't think I ever attached it to any of it. I lost a sigh. Then it is gone. I can get it back. I can get it back. Raphael, let it go. Yeah, and then they're starting to hit each other.
Yeah, because the entire time Mikey's over there ordering pizza.
He's ordering a pizza. He is.
Michelangelo!
Splinter throws a phone book at him. Oh, I'm sorry for all the people out here who came to listen to us talk about horror movies, and we're sitting here talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But let me tell you something. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was much more interesting than this.
Well, before we part ways, I just got one last thing to say. We have a loyalty to the Shredder. We're family.
Oh God, Jeremy, not this again. We're family. So you're just gonna tie? So are you trying to transition into like the
No.
Fast and Furious now?
No. I just like where Casey's like, family? Family? You call this here and that down there family?
Oh, I can quote that movie for hours.
Well, everybody, we are family here. We are all counselors around this glorious campfire. And we will see you next week as we talk about the exact same movie with some slight differences.
We're going to come back here and be like, well, this is a repeat. What have we talked about that we can talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Turtles 2?
Turtles 2? Yes, that's what we could do. We can actually start to do the same thing. We talk about the movie, cut it down, talk about some mistakes and how bad it is, and then start quoting Turtles 2. Mama? Oh, mama. Oh, good old
babies.
Toka and Razor. Yeah, that's what their name is. A big giant snapping turtle.
What do you expect? They're infants. They're stupid.
Babies. They're babies. Oh.
Oh my God. Well, everybody, like I said, we're all one big happy family here. So we will see y'all next week as we talk about the exact same movie, Exorcist Dominion. See y'all next week.
Next week. Later. Good night.
I am Obersturmführer Rolf Gessel from the SS, and this is one of my men. We found him in a ditch with a kitchen knife in his back, murdered by one of you. You see the German army retreating, and it makes you feel hope. It should not. So, who is responsible for this? You, priest. What's your name?
I'm Father Merrin.
Father Merrin. These people confess to you?
Yes.
So point out the one who's responsible.
No one here did this, Lieutenant. They aren't capable of it.
Father, you must help me with this.
Oh, but how?
Well, I need someone. Do you understand? Surely there's one among them who beats his wife or his children. A thief, perhaps. Every town has someone it can do without. Point him out.
But there is no murderer here.
I have good news for you. You are all innocent. Your priest has told me so. The murderer is no doubt lurking in the countryside, waiting to strike at the next group of German soldiers. I am going to shoot 10 of you in the hope that we can demonstrate to this wretch the responsibility he has incurred. A worker's hand.
Farmer.
Excellent. We will start with you.
Stop!
You have some objection, Father?
In God's name, you cannot do this.
You choose.
What?
Well, they're your flock. You live among them, so you choose.
I will not.
You give me 10 of them, or I will kill them all. Men, women, and children.
Shoot me.
You have 5 seconds.
I can't.
You can't what? Pick who will be sacrificed? History is full of priests who did little else. You begin to irritate me, Father.
This is Dave.